What's up, family? Welcome back to another Urban Eden podcast. I am your host, Taryn Lewis, and today we have Rochelle Dumois, and then we are going to be talking about maternal health. I'm going to do my formal introductions that I typically do, and then we're going to dive deep and have a really good conversation. I'm interested for our conversation and what we'll be talking about. After you hear her bio, you'll hear that she has also dealt with infertility. She has dealt with miscarriages, and that's just something that a lot of women, as Black women, how do we, show support in our communities? How do we find the support in our communities? And just as women in general, like, we're all dealing with this, and sometimes we can feel like we're suffering in silence. So it's always good to talk to someone else and share our stories and see what's going on, and just make more connections in this way. So I'm gonna give the rundown on Rochelle Dumois. Am I saying it right, girl? Cause Dumois. Look, I feel like I gotta be extra with it. Dumois.
It's
like
New Orleans. It's
New Orleans, okay? It's spelled Dumas, but we getting Dumois.
Dumas. Like Alexander Dumas.
Dumas. She like I'm adding a Y to Dumois, okay? Rochelle Dumois. Do not forget her name, okay? That's a very unique last name too. I love it. You like in New Orleans? I don't know.
No, I don't know a lot of Dumas in New Orleans.
Okay.
Yeah.
You my first one that I ever met too. She's a registered nurse. She's a maternal health advocate and the founder of A Light After 9, a nonprofit born from her deeply personal journey through 9 pregnancy losses. After giving birth to her miracle baby, Nazaire, said it right. Nazaire, Rochelle transformed her pain into purpose by creating a platform that empowers and supports families navigating infertility, pregnancy loss, and maternal trauma. With her background in nursing informatics and lived experience, she bridges the gaps between clinical care and emotional healing, especially for Black and underserved communities. Rochelle speaks candidly about the invisible mental load carried by women and the power of advocacy, self-care, and community. Whether on the front lines of healthcare or speaking at national conferences, she remains committed to creating safe, honest spaces where healing is possible and hope is restored. And with that, welcome to the podcast, Rochelle.
I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you, especially hearing about the work that you do. I'm interested, again, like I said before, to hear your story. Yeah. And thank you for, taking the time to sit here on the couch with us.
Thank you for having me. I have a unique story, and I can tell you right now that when my husband at the time and I decided to get pregnant, I couldn't have fathomed that we would be sitting on the couch just talking about my story at all. I thought I would get pregnant, want some pickles and ice cream, get a few ultrasounds, and I'll deliver a baby. That's what I thought it was, and it was far from that. My pregnancy journey started in 2018. I had a home positive pregnancy test. I was bleeding, and then I went to the OB, and he was like, "You're having a miscarriage." And I'm like, okay, I'm a registered nurse, but I was a critical care nurse at Grady, trauma. I could save your life. I could save anyone's life. But I was like, maternal health, I don't know about that part, other than basic knowledge. So I went on with my life, and I was like, okay, well, maybe we weren't ready for a baby, maybe, another time. And, we were planning a wedding, all these things. And then 2020, COVID started. I flew to New York, and I helped out on a COVID ICU. I came back, did some soul searching after that horrible experience, and I was pregnant again. This time I was bleeding again, and I went to the ER instead of an OB, and they told me that I was having twins. First of all, who about to do anything with twins? I'm like, what I'm going to do with twins? I just wanted one baby. I didn't want 2 babies. That's crazy. But I was like, okay, cool, twins. We're going to work through this. So he said, follow up with your OB. You're bleeding. It looks like you have what's called a subchorionic hemorrhage, which can happen to any of us. When the baby is implanted into the uterus, it causes like a sac of blood sometimes. And typically it's reabsorbed by the body. Rare cases, it can cause a loss. So I follow up with the OB, and she's doing tests. By the time I get to the OB, I'm having 10 out of 10 pain. Severe abdominal cramping, nausea, I'm vomiting. I was bleeding more, and they kept sending me home. Then
So you weren't just like period bleeding. You're like,
no, I'm like bleeding. Like,
Oh,
I'm like,
Lord.
oh, I'm losing these babies. Like, I'm
Yeah.
bleeding. But I'll go into the OB. She'll do an ultrasound, say everything looks fine. And then she'll send me home. But I'm like, my symptoms are very real. I know this is wrong. I'm not a maternal health nurse, but I shouldn't be feeling like this throughout pregnancy. So I'm going to the ER. They're sending me home. Nobody's doing a complete workup. Nobody's telling me, maybe go to a reproductive endocrinologist or a
Yeah.
specialist. And I didn't know about that until later on in my
and this was
journey.
your second time, right?
This is my second time.
So you're like, I'm experiencing this for a second time.
A second time.
Yeah.
And the first time it was a loss.
Mm-hmm.
So they sent me home, and at 13 weeks and 3 days, I lost the first baby. And then all my symptoms went away. I felt great. I'm like, okay, maybe that baby was exiting. Maybe that baby didn't survive. I was still pregnant. I was hopeful. I'm like, okay. Hopeful enough to allow my friends to throw me a gender reveal. So on October 31st, we had a virtual gender reveal. My friends came over to set up. I woke up that morning calling one of my friends. I said, today is not a good day. I don't know what it is. Today is just not a good day. Something's wrong. And she's telling me, lay down, or you want to go to the ER or cancel the gender reveal. I'm like, no, I want to celebrate. Like, I feel like in a place where I should celebrate this baby. So an hour before the gender reveal, I went to the bathroom, and the baby fell out in the toilet. So I go to the ER. We're at 15 weeks and 3 days. They had told me everything was fine, just like they told me, I don't know how many times throughout this pregnancy, everything was fine. And I tell the ER doctor, hey, this is what happened. I've been to this ER many times. The baby just fell out in the toilet. And she asked me, how did you even know you were pregnant? And I'm
Same one? The same person? It came to you.
So you can look at my record.
Said, okay. All right.
In addition to, it's COVID.
Yeah.
It's October 2020.
Oh, and it was like hard to, like, you're not really kind of seeing the doctors, or it's like super
No, I'm
quick.
seeing my doctor.
Yeah.
I'm going in there all the time. The issue is just like, race plays a big part. We're not believed as Black women. And a lot of times because of this, we end up dying from maternal health complications. Like I said, 3 to 4 times more likely than our white counterparts. So it's moments like these where we're not believed. So far that she asked me, how did you know you were pregnant? I'm like, well, ma'am, I don't even want to be here. It's 2020. It's COVID. Everybody have on masks. I don't want to get sick. I just lost a baby. I just need help. I'm bleeding, like placenta.
Yeah, why are you asking me questions? Somehow, how did I know I was pregnant? Like,
right. The correct
baby,
thing.
you said that like a baby fell out though, because something was formed at 15 weeks.
Yeah, at 15 weeks.
Yes, you were almost half baked.
Right.
Almost.
Right. So I'm like, there was better ways for you to speak to a patient. Like, how about let's do an ultrasound to confirm your loss. That's what should have been said. Instead I was like, do you want to see a picture of the baby? And she said yes. Like, she really didn't believe I was pregnant.
Wow.
So I showed her a picture on my phone, and she said, oh, that's a baby.
Yeah, ma'am. Okay. All right. So that was the second time?
That was the second time.
Okay.
So after that one, I was diagnosed with cervical insufficiency. So my cervix is too weak to hold a baby in full term. And once the baby gets heavy enough, about in the first trimester, beginning of second, it falls out. Without contractions, it usually just opens.
Wow.
So the treatment is a cerclage, which is a suture around the cervix
To keep it in. Yep.
To keep it in. My doctor, not knowing all my options, told me that in order to get that, you have to make it to 13 weeks, disregarding that I had previous early miscarriages.
Around that same time.
So that was pregnancy number 2. I went on early miscarriage. It wasn't until at work, my supervisor was like, you keep having these miscarriages. Nobody's referring you to any other specialist.
Really? In that amount of time, nobody? Did you keep, every time you had a miscarriage, were you continuing to go to the doctor, getting
I would
checked?
go to the doctor, or I at least call the doctor.
Yeah.
And
is
nobody
this the
said
same
nothing.
doctor? Are you switching doctors at any point?
So I switched doctors from my 2018 pregnancy to my 2020 pregnancy to my 2021 pregnancies. My doctor left. Her husband had cancer, and she had to move to Florida. So I was with a new doctor, and they still wasn't referring me.
Wow.
So
was it at the same practice, or was it at a totally...
So, no, all 3 of these were different practices.
Oh, wow. So you were seeing the same results pretty much between 3
Yeah,
practices.
3 different. I'm glad you
Wow.
asked that. Nobody has ever asked me those questions. Yeah, it's three different practices, three different OBs. It wasn't until I was at work and my manager was like, you need to see a reproductive endocrinologist and geneticist. Make sure there's no genetic component to the losses. I would later find out that an aunt of mine had 7 stillbirths, all boys.
What?
She kept trying for 2 girls, and she had 2 girls.
Yeah.
My mother had a stillbirth and early miscarriages. So infertility runs in my family.
In your family.
So I did ask my OB at the time for a referral to a reproductive endocrinologist and geneticist, and she happily did so. For some reason, it didn't click for her to do that. Genetically, nothing was wrong from the testing. The reproductive endocrinologist scheduled procedures to look at the shape of my uterus to see if there was inflammation, all these things. She did a bunch of testing. All my autoimmune disease tests came back negative. That could cause issues. My thyroid exams came back fine. That can cause infertility. So the day I was supposed to get the procedure, I found out I was pregnant. And she started me on this medicine called progesterone, suppository, just to keep my cervix strong, to hopefully get me to 13 weeks, and it did. At that point, I graduated to a maternal fetal medicine doctor, who is a doctor who puts in a cerclage. She put in a cerclage. She told me, and that was at 13 weeks. She told me to come back in 7 weeks. I thought that was crazy.
That's a long time.
That's a long time.
And when you say you actually went to a maternal fetal doctor, I thought that you were actually going to say that you were starting to go to the appointments like weekly or bi-weekly or something like that, because they need to be keeping track of you.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't start seeing maternal fetal medicine until 13 weeks when she was doing the, right before she did the procedure the following week. And she told me to come back in 7 weeks, and I begged her. I was like, please see me sooner. Like, this is my 6th pregnancy. I had 5 losses already. I can't take another loss. And she was like, no, this is it. Like, you don't have to worry about it. And I'm like, okay, like, I don't feel comfortable. And I'm like, okay, I'm still seeing my OB every other week, but she's not doing the in-depth ultrasound like at the MFM, the maternal fetal medicine. So at 20 weeks, I felt great. I'm like, good, I feel great. This is the pregnancy. I made it. This is the longest I've been pregnant. And I go into the maternal fetal medicine doctor's office. The ultrasound tech is doing the usual ultrasound, and mid-ultrasound, she stops and walks out the room. And I turn to my husband, and I'm like, something's wrong. Like, I talked to this lady the whole ultrasound. We laugh. Something's wrong. That doctor came in and said, your cerclage failed. And I'm like, so what does that mean? Can we do another one? Is there something else we could do? Like, can I be on bed rest for the rest of my pregnancy? She said, no, you can go to the 15th floor and deliver. Like, nonchalantly. Like, I wasn't just about to lose a baby.
And also, when they came in, was it, how was the energy even when they came in? It was just like your cerclage fell, like.
It was very nonchalant. It was like, I was later found out that I was one of her first cerclage patients. It was very nonchalant. It was very, it didn't work, so next. Like, that type of vibe. And I'm like, I'm a Leo, a type A Leo. I'm just like,
my daughter's a Leo too, child.
Don't you love us?
Y'all some different people. Okay. For my earth side, earthy self.
What are you?
I'm a Virgo, but
Virgo?
yes, Leos definitely bring the fire. Okay.
I'm on the cusp. So,
okay.
I'm an honorary Virgo, but
yes.
I'm very like, I'm proud. I speak up for myself. I'm an advocate. In that moment, I was desperate, and you wouldn't even be able to recognize me. I'm like begging, please, can we do something? This, as long as I've been pregnant, this is number 6. I've lost every baby. Like, it has to be something. She was like, no, you can just go. And like, she was defeated, almost like she felt defeated. And so I left there. I did research. I called my village. I'm like, we need to find a doctor who would put in another cerclage higher. I found out there was another cerclage that could have been offered called a transabdominal cerclage. The one she put in was transvaginal. You have to get it at 13 weeks. You have to cut it out at about 36, 37 weeks, and you give birth. But the transabdominal cerclage, it's permanent. So they put it in there, and you do a C-section.
Okay.
But you never, like, I have it in right now. So I found a doctor in Texas, and he calls me on his cell phone. I tell him my whole story. He's like, I need you to fly to Texas. I'm like, well, it's a baby falling out my vagina right now. So I don't know if I'm going to make it. And he was like, I need you to have faith and try to make it there. I flew to Texas on the red eye. He rolled out the red carpet. I've never been treated like this in a hospital before. You would have thought I was Beyonce coming in. Like, you would have thought. Everybody knew. The security guard knew who I was. Right, everybody.
Beautiful.
Like, amazing. He gave me some medicine to try to prevent contractions, and we went to the OR. That 3-hour surgery took 8 hours because I was on the flight. The baby fell down. They had to literally push the baby in. He had to call counterparts to help. But when I woke up from anesthesia, everything was fine. Everything was fine. Yeah. Everybody was cheering. He was around. Everybody was like, we did it. We did it. He was known for doing surgeries like this. He saved twins at 20 weeks, like same thing. Unfortunately, when anesthesia wore off, contractions set in. And I was in labor for 30 hours. And they gave me every med to try to stop it. And my water broke. Had to go back to the OR, get both of those cerclages removed. And I gave birth to a baby boy on July 18th, 2021. His name is Navarro. And he's in a garden there at the hospital, a garden where people who had lost, they buried them. So I was very depressed at that time. I also lost my mother. My grandmother, who was my mother, and all these losses, and I felt defeated. But that doctor promised me that outside of pregnancy, he would bring me back, no charge, and do that same cerclage, abdominal cerclage, and then I'll be pregnant. So I had some early miscarriages. I had a gallbladder surgery.
Even after that?
Yeah. I tried again. I had some a gallbladder surgery because your gallbladder tends to go bad with multiple miscarriages and multiple pregnancies. But November of 2021, I flew back to Texas, and I got the surgery done. Like he said, no charge. I had one early miscarriage, and then May of 2022, I found out I was pregnant, and I was followed by the reproductive endocrinologist. I graduated to the maternal fetal medicine doctor, a different one, not the same one.
Were you still back here in Georgia?
Yeah, I came back to Georgia. Yeah. I wish I could stay in Texas. He was a phenomenal doctor.
Yeah. No, shout out to him for real.
I know. Shout out to Dr. Falwell at Texas Health. He like the best. But I made it to 36 weeks, and now I have a pot-belly 2-year-old baby boy running around.
Pot-belly for sure. Them toddlers really be pot-belly.
They really do.
You be like, is everything okay?
Right, you have to press it a little bit, make sure it ain't hard, even in the liquor cabinet or something.
Yes.
Like,
well, that is, I'm so thankful that you found that a blessing was able to come out of that. I've often heard that, sometimes that we have to go through suffering and struggling so that we can really appreciate and enjoy, our gifts and our blessings when we actually get them. But to actually have to go through a whole bunch of trials and tribulations and tests and things that can really try to break you, and you still come out on the top. So it's actually like, as you're telling the story, I keep hearing why a light after 9 makes sense. Like, it truly makes sense. And when I was first hearing your story, I'm like, wow, the medical system really failed you, and wow, the medical system is really horrible. But then to hear about a doctor who actually heard you and actually saw you and actually helped you and provided you, the help that you needed so that you could receive the help that you needed I was like, okay, so the medical system isn't all bad. Because at first I'm like, I'm done with the medical system. This one I don't fool with them. So I'm so thankful that somebody, found you and actually helped you when you needed that. You needed that, and so now your son is here. Now you're living this life, and then you have your nonprofit as well, a Light After 9. I wanted to hug you, hold you. I'm just like, to go through 9 losses, because again, I've dealt with infertility. I didn't deal with actually getting pregnant and losing a child. I just feel like that is definitely a whole nother situation too, to have something so tangible and then to have it slip through your fingers, and not just once but several times, is like, That is truly heartbreaking.
Yeah.
On my side, I couldn't even achieve and get to that point,
Right.
first and foremost. So I know like the depression that just comes along with infertility, the depression that comes along with wanting to have a child, and especially being with a partner or somebody that you love so much and wanting to have a child with them and to be a mom and see them be a dad and to have a family. And then to not be able to get that. And then, you have to continue to still show up, wake up the next day, continue to show up and do the actual things that you do in your life. And nobody never really always knows what you're going through.
They don't.
I heard you say in your speech a little bit that you had your village and stuff like that as well. So it sounds like you had a good support network of friends and family around you that like kind of helped to carry you through and gave you hope as well and let you keep on going.
Yeah, it changed, right? Like, people think your village is like your husband and, maybe some close friends, your mom. But it's so much bigger than that. I've learned after I started this nonprofit, the village is all these people who are fighting for you that you don't even know. Like all the organizations who provide maternal mental health support, all of the doctors who are like, but we haven't tried this yet. But we have this one more thing. But I think this may work. That gives you hope. That's what kept me going a lot of times. And then, yes, you have your friends who are like holding your hand, after a baby just fell out of you, who you're crying to, who you're joking with in the midst of trauma, who are doing all those things that it's like you say, giving you that hope when you feel really hopeless. The thing about us, though our pregnancy journeys were different, we are the same in the fact that we didn't know if we were going to have our babies. We did not know that. We did not see what our lives are right now. You couldn't tell me I was going to be a mom after I came from Texas and lost that baby. I was ready to give up. My doctors were not ready to give up. My village was not ready to give. Some of them probably were. They're like, they probably have secondhand trauma from everything I've been through. It was a lot. But I wasn't ready to completely give up. So it's so great to be surrounded by family, friends, but also strangers who are fighting a good fight.
That's a blessing. So at what point did you say, well, let me do a nonprofit, and how was that born?
So I rested for a year and a half. And I was just thinking on my birthday last year, how do I want to give back? I don't want anybody going through what I went through. A lack of education and ignorance, textbook ignorance. Like, I didn't know about cervical insufficiency and cerclages, and that's not something I would know about. Even as a nurse, I was a maternal health nurse, and then the common person would not know about this. So I couldn't advocate to say, oh, no, don't put a transvaginal cerclage. Let's just go to a transabdominal cerclage. I couldn't say that. That would have saved me 3 more losses. I want to be that person for other people to say, no, this and this and this, you need to discuss this. I want to empower you to speak up during your appointments with your doctor. I want to vet your doctors to make sure they're high quality and they know what they're talking about. I didn't always have that option. I want to give you mental health resources because it's a struggle. Even if you have a cookie cutter pregnancy where you get pregnant easy and you have a baby and you go on, it still can be hard. I want to provide you support groups and mentorship, mom-to-mom mentorship, I wanted to give other women in their village the things that I wish I had, so that's what we're doing. And it's been amazing. Like, since I started it, I realized how much of my story was a testimony. And people not only want to hear it, but need to. Like, I've been in Essence, Women's Health, The Bump, like all these things. And I've talked all over the country so far. And it still provokes so much strong emotion in women because they're also going through this.
Yes.
And I didn't realize when I was going through
That's why I said it can feel so isolating when you're going through infertility. You just like, nobody understands what I'm going through. This is my own journey. And then it's like, on one hand too, you don't always want to tell people about it so much because it's a continual cycle. Oh, this month it didn't happen. This year it didn't happen. 2 years ago it didn't happen. It's something that you're dealing with, and then you don't want to continue to feel like you're like putting your burdens on somebody else. And then it's just something that feels like your weight that you're just carrying alone. So you definitely need that like like community support. I know for me, like when I was going through my years of infertility, I didn't have no support whatsoever. Nobody knew that I was like, maybe a few people probably knew that I was going through that. Even listening to your story just reminds me of when infertility and fertility kind of clicked to me when I watched Oprah's documentary Eggs Over Easy. Did you see that documentary?
No, I have to go watch it.
You should go watch it. It was really, really good. I think it featured on her episode on OWN and on her network.
Okay.
But in that documentary, you know, that's when I saw it was so many different levels to infertility. It wasn't just me thinking like I can't get pregnant. That was what my world was. It's like I can't get pregnant. But then I found out that there were a lot of people who were dealing with miscarriages or people who were, you know, having whole pregnancies and giving and having stillbirths, essentially what you experienced as well. And even you know, I went back and talked to my grandmother. My grandmother had, like you said, just in your family, like your family had dealt with like stillbirths and miscarriages, and this is something that like we bear as women. Yes, silently we bear this as women. We hold on to this emotional trauma as women, and that's why I feel like it's so important for us to talk about this. Even though Urban Eden is this platform where we make soap and we're, you know, using essential oils, Urban Eden is about well-being, and it was started by a Black woman as well who dealt with infertility and just all the things of being a woman in general. So I feel like it makes sense because we're talking about an emotional trauma, something that affects your mental well-being, something that affects how you take care of yourself physically. And not only that,
if you can take care of yourself.
If you can take care of yourself physically. One thing that infertility kind of shines a light on, though, is your body, is your mental state. Is like, how do I prepare myself? Like, something's not right. Something's going wrong. Something's not happening, because we all grew up in society. Humankind has been around for a long time. You have sex, you have a baby, like that's just how things go. So it should be easy, like you said. And people give birth, like it should be easy.
Not even in a hospital. It wasn't always in a hospital.
At home.
Yeah, at home.
Like, and so it's like it should be easy. So when it's an issue for you, it's like, well, what's going on? But I know infertility for me caused me to like look at my body, take a look at what's going on. And I did have help with medical intervention as well. So medical intervention can help in so many ways when you need it to help. But again, like you said, providing that support for other women. So when I watched that documentary, it just showed me that so many other women are just dealing with fertility, infertility in so many different ways. And that we shouldn't even judge like anybody's situation being worse than the other or what have you. 100%. Like, we are dealing with this pain and this hurt and carrying this emotional trauma, and then finding light on the other side, hopefully.
Yeah. Also, of course, when I started the business, I was like, oh, the light is my son, like after 9 losses. But also the light is being on the other side of that when I didn't think I would make it to the other side of that. Because there were times in my pregnancy journey when my life was at risk, especially with my son. I was sick every pregnancy. And it's something I didn't think I would survive. But it's also so important, like you said, the self-care component. Because it was a lot of days. I just stopped telling people when I had a loss. When I finally came out with the number, even my village was like, oh, it was 9? It was 9. Because, like you say, you don't want to be that burden and that weight on people, because it's already hard to bear. Like, so you can imagine what it's doing to other people. And it's just so important that we take care of ourselves during that time and recognize when we need therapy, when we need a self-care day. You know, take a bath. Like, you get so depressed that you just give up on yourself. And, like, it's so important to recognize that in yourself, or at least have people surrounding you to recognize that and bring you back. So important.
No, that is definitely important. One thing that that's coming to my mind is even when you mentioned talking about you were doing all these tests, blood tests, I do want to encourage anybody that's listening to the podcast to definitely go do blood tests. Again, the medical system, it's kind of like paying attention and seeing when somebody's not hearing you, but go find a doctor that will hear you, because once you go find a doctor that will hear you, you could take the proper test that you need to take. After I got pregnant, I actually ended up having thyroid issues after, but I don't know if I might have had thyroid issues prior to that, and come to find out thyroid issues can cause infertility as well. And so now I'm dealing with thyroid issues and, you know, trying to get my diet together and
Right.
my lifestyle and my nutrition. But I went to go see a functional medicine doctor. And, at some point I was feeling like, I don't want to just be put on medicines all the time. Like, I
Right.
really want to learn how to better take care of myself. And self-care it's really this vast thing. It looks like however you want it to look like, but everybody's body is different. Like, we all need our own different things. Like you said, whether it be therapy, whether it be you just need to rest, whether
Right.
it's you need to eat better lifestyle, better diet, better nutrition. Like, there's things that we just constantly always have to be doing.
Yes.
Healing is not just this one size fits all. It's not something that you do one day and you're healed.
Right.
It's
It's a
literally
journey.
like it's a journey. It's a journey. It's something that you do literally until the day that you die. Like, and even for us to want to become mothers, like, we have to kind of like show up for ourselves in that way, and also with our village, but show up for ourselves in that way, because we have to show our children, like, you got to take care of yourself.
Right.
They're
You
looking
have
at
to.
us. We're giving them our all, and it's like we can't pour from an empty cup. So we really need to,
Yes.
like, do our tests and advocate for ourselves. So it's good that you have a Light After 9 where we're helping other people to, advocate for themselves, giving them the support, giving them that mental health. How long has the organization been around?
We actually just started October 5th officially. So it hasn't even been a year, and we've done so much, like so much. But that is a very important part of it. I always encourage not just prenatal visits once you find out you get pregnant, but preconception. And even before then. We need to know if you have hypertension, diabetes, all this stuff that could complicate a pregnancy. So you need to already be doing your routine follow-ups with OB and your primary care, functional medicine, all the doctors, dermatology, GI, all these doctors when you have issues. But definitely preconception. When you go to that OB and say, you know what, I'm thinking about having a baby, how many eggs do you have that's viable? All these things. Millennials we're having babies later and later.
And we're dealing with infertility more and more.
With infertility more and more. Having a food prescription. It's becoming more popular now, but
What's a
it
food
should have been.
prescription?
Like, if you're having IBS, or even if you're just a normal person, or you having like allergies and stuff like that, making sure you're eating the right food
For yourself. That's true. Yes, because everybody think that, they just want to go to the, just go to being a vegan, or, I just want to go on a specific diet. But that does not work for everybody. No, it doesn't.
I've tried it. I was vegan for one pregnancy. I was vegetarian. I was pescatarian. I tried it all.
You try it all. When
tried it all.
infertility, you are searching for
trying.
everything.
You are doing everything.
What do I need to do to make sure that, like, my body is at its best ability, and what works for somebody else might not necessarily work for you. So again, like you said, even providing that emotional support and that mental support is, like, I think what's so important when it comes down to health and when it comes down to healing is that it's a very personal journey.
Yes.
You have to figure out what works for you. Yes,
And
holistic for sure. Like, look at it from a full picture, 360 view, top, bottom, left, right. Look at it all the ways, but it's not enough for us to just, like, expect somebody to tell us what to do. Like, we have to be proactive in our healing. We have to be proactive in our healing.
We do, because the other caveat is that if you're going to a doctor, this is them practicing, emphasis on the practicing medicine. They don't know it all. They do not know it all. I have a mentor, and she likes to call herself a tree hugger, and she sends me all the holistic, food diet for your blood type, all these different things, self-care things because, I'm a registered nurse, I'm very focused sometimes on Western medicine too much. But I take heed to that because I have to remember, just like I'm telling you, that they're practicing medicine. A lot of people don't do food prescriptions, but it's so important that, like, I eat for my IBS, or I'm eating for my fertility issues. I'm eating for these different things, my brain issues that I have, different things, because they're not thinking about that all the time, and it's not something that's taught in school, and it's something that's becoming new. There are doctors like at Grady. There was a doctor I worked with who worked out of Morehouse, and he was so big on vitamins and food prescription. And I had never seen that. Never again in my practice had I seen that again. But I started researching it, and I felt better when I started eating for myself, like my blood type. So it's really something that you also have to do the research for, and it's hard. And I'm encouraging you to do it outside of fertility issues, because once you get into this wow west of fertility issues, if you could get all this stuff done before and prep yourself for this, it'll be easy
It'll
on
be
you.
much easier, yeah.
When you're going through fertility issues, your mental isn't
Your mental,
the best.
yes.
So you don't want to have to do research and find doctors and find this.
While
and
you
trying
feeling
to figure
defeated at the
while
same
you're feeling
time.
defeated. You're not yourself. So if you can get it out the way and try to discover yourself and the things that you need to make your body nourished and whole, try to do that before you go into your pregnancy journey. That's like the best advice I could give you.
That's good advice. My question to you is, what did self-care look like for you while you were pregnant?
Ooh, Jesus. I'm going to be honest. Like, I didn't take care of myself the best. Like, I didn't. Like, some days I was just waiting for the day to end. I was.
Why do you feel like that? Why do you think that was, looking back at it? Yeah.
Well, it's because of the amount of loss and grief I had. I mean, it was loss after hit after grief. And that's when I realized I needed therapy again. I was just like, I need therapy. So I did regular like talk therapy, but then I also, right before my son, when I had truly given up on pregnancy after that doctor flew me to Texas and put in the cerclage and we was trying to see if it would work, I had given up. I couldn't even see if the cerclage would work. I tried hypnotherapy. And
I heard of that.
it brought me back to life, and I was able to get pregnant again and try again. But also, I did things that I didn't normally do. I was like, you're always told, especially as an entrepreneur, if you want to get to places where you never been, you have to do things you never did before. You have to try something new. So I did self-care, like I did a facial subscription and massage subscriptions. I went on dates by myself every week alone. I love being alone. Not all the time, but like,
look,
I
y'all, when we
love
talk
doing
about
that now.
self-care,
Yes.
like spend time
By
with
yourself. By
Spend
yourself.
time with self.
By yourself.
That's one of the best, most healing things that you can do.
It
Whatever
is.
it looks like for you. If it's listening to music, watching
Yes.
TV, journaling, sitting in silence,
Yes.
dancing, whatever it feels like. But spend time by yourself sometime so
By
that you
yourself.
can hear the messages that are for you, so that you can find that clarity, so that you can align with yourself, and so that you can figure out how to move next. Like,
you could cry.
Figure out so you could cry. So you could
peace.
cry in peace. You don't got to worry about nobody judging. You don't have to worry about nobody seeing you at your
Yep.
worst. And that's okay if people are going to see you at your worst. But sometimes you got to be by yourself.
gotta be alone.
And figure it out. And I think that there's strength in being by yourself.
And it could be hard for people.
It can be
because
people are
when-
scared to be alone.
They are. When you're alone, there's a mirror that you cannot
The good
run
and
away
the bad.
from.
The
Yeah.
shadows. The
It
shadow work
is.
come up.
It is. It's a lot that you're faced with. And for me, it's been all this trauma. So right now I'm in a season of being alone, and it's scary, but it feels
And you're a
good.
mom, but you still in
And
the
I'm a
season of being
mom.
alone.
Right.
And you could do that.
But I'm co-parenting, so.
But you could do that.
Like right now, I just dropped him off to right before I came here. I dropped him off to his daddy, so now I'm alone, and like I drive a lot, and I clear my mind, and I cry, and I laugh, and I do everything to make me whole again. And it feels scary and uncomfortable and great and relieving and refreshing and scary and uncomfortable. And it's a cycle of that, but it's so necessary. It's so necessary.
To get back to you, to align, to be centered. Like, a lot of us are walking around out here, and especially when we talk about like infertility and just any kind of things that are going on with us, any kind of disease or what have you, it's an imbalance.
It is.
It's an imbalance internally. It's an imbalance externally. And when you take that time to spend time with yourself, that's how you get balanced again. And it might not be like full on balance, but it really allows you to listen to your heart, be able to listen to God, listen to a higher power, and really like ask yourself, like, what do I need to do for me?
Right.
So that I
And
can show up.
They tell you, but you
They
just
will tell
so
you.
used
We
to
don't
being around
hear.
other people and doing all the things
Yes.
and working all this stuff. that
Scrolling
you
on
don't
social
hear.
media, thinking that the answers is on social media, or listening to somebody or talking to a friend. It don't always come from that.
It don't.
It really does not. It literally comes from like being by yourself, listening. If that looks like prayer for you, and sometimes I understand, but I'm feeling like I'm literally mean like sometimes just silence, like silence.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite things, to soak in a tub with like silence and darkness. Another thing I took while I was pregnant, that I did in between pregnancies, because I couldn't do it while I was pregnant, was the sensory deprivation.
I did that
pods.
before
Did
too.
you do it?
Yes.
Like you really like by yourself alone for an
Yes,
hour,
and just
like
floating.
it's just floating. It's nothing, like an hour of nothingness. It's And then once you're on the other side and you have toddlers,
it's hard to get some. It's hard to get a long time.
But you're gonna appreciate it more.
You're gonna appreciate it more. Even on my way here, like my toddler and my husband back at the house, and like in that little drive on the way is just like woo, like
it's like great.
No, but of course you find just joy, of course, in being a mother as 100%. Well, and of course, like motherhood comes with its hardships. Yep. It comes with it. It's like it's so crazy because like on one hand you deal with infertility and you're like, well, I don't ever want to take for granted being a mother, and you don't. Yeah. But it's not to say that you can't be tired of like the energy that you have to give, and it's very different. You know, it's not you just being to yourself anymore. It's you being with your child, and it's not to say like even though you had to go through the challenges, like it's still challenging to be a mother. It is as well.
It is, and there's like this point where like you're in the in between of you just came from this journey where you didn't know if you was gonna have this baby. And he or she is here, so it's like you're in the middle of grief and gratitude, and that could be hard
repeat
to
that one. I like that.
Grief and gratitude
in the middle between grief and gratitude.
You're at an intersection, and that could be hard to cope with and balance because you're grateful and you're being present as a wife, as a mother, as a friend, and all these things, and you're so grateful for this little one that you didn't think you was gonna have, and then he put poops all over the wall, and then you're also like, oh my God.
I'm done with you all at the same time.
Right, but you just came from this journey that takes years to heal from. Years, you know. My baby is 2.5 years old, and sometimes I still have periods where I'm grieving that journey, all those losses. That was 9 losses, you know. So grief and gratitude. And it's okay to be there. It's just trying to navigate that while still being present as a mother.
I'm so happy that you said that, because when you talk about still grieving infertility, and I actually had just posted about that on my threads the other day, and I was saying how I was like, I still grieve the fact that I don't have fallopian tubes. Like, I can't get pregnant naturally. If I want to go have another child again, like I have to go through a transfer. I have to go take medicines. Hopefully I don't have to pay as much as I did the first time, but I have to pay. And there's that grieving, and I was like, grieving isn't always I guess like you can definitely grieve a loss. You can grieve what you kind of still kind of can't achieve right then and there. Right. Like naturally, it's not always about death. That's what I was gonna say. Grief is not always around death. It can definitely be around loss, but like I'm still just grieving. And it doesn't have to be like, 24/7 grief. But when I actually like sit down and think about it, I'm like, damn, I'm kind of sad about that.
Yeah,
but,
100%.
Yeah, but you still like overcome it or what have you. Yes, I'm still show up and do the things that I have to do. But that's another thing that you're battling daily. Like
it is.
Yes, I dealt with infertility. I got the child, and then I'm dealing with the other side. Like I'm on the other side where, again, like you said, it's that intersection between grief and gratitude. You're still dealing with, I thought that life was going to look like.
Right. That's a loss, though.
Yes, what you really thought life was going to look like. Yeah.
There is a loss that, so people equate loss to death, but there are so many types of loss. My therapist often makes me do a loss inventory, and there are so many things that I lost throughout those years. I lost time with friends, with family. I lost time with my grandmother, and she passed. And then 6 months after I finally gave birth to my baby, I was falling down the stairs. I was going blind. I had horrible headaches. Like, I didn't know what was wrong with me. I was being misdiagnosed for months. And then I was diagnosed with a neurological issue called idiopathic intracranial hypertension. And my doctor said, you were pregnant so much, you were accumulating fluid, and it was accumulating up here. And your brain does not know how to regulate it. And I just had brain surgery about a month and a half ago in June, which was 2 years after my symptoms started. And I'm about to have, like I told you, I'm about to have another one next week. But the thing is, like, you have this loss of how even your life is going to be after the baby gets here.
Yeah.
And it's just like, because I say that to say, I too had to get my fallopian tubes removed and things like that.
Oh, wow.
And I can't ever get pregnant because if I gain weight and
you can't get pregnant again?
I could get pregnant if I actually did IVF.
Yeah.
But it's so unsafe. If I get pregnant, I'll die.
Wow.
Because of the neurological issue. So then that's another thing.
That's another thing to grieve. Yes.
I have to grieve. Like,
thank you. Thankfully, I got one child.
I got one child, but now I have to grieve that I can't ever get pregnant again.
And then your body, the things that your body just goes through after pregnancy. But that's so interesting that you said that. you said you've been pregnant so much essentially, and like your body gears up to have a
Yeah,
child, and then
it's
it
ready.
loses, and then it's like, what is going on?
It's ready. So yeah, it's just like now I can't ever be pregnant again for my own safety.
Yeah.
And that's something I had to grieve. That I'm still grieving. Like I
Yes.
still get teary eyed thinking about when I had the surgery last year to get my fallopian tubes removed. It's just a lot of grief related to the pregnancy journey because of that. Like I always wanted at least 2 children, but I'm so grateful that I had him because I didn't even know I was gonna have him. So now I'm just like I'm gonna have to marry a man with children so I can have step
Let's
kids.
hug it out, girl,
Oh.
because we are fallopian tubeless sisters. It's not funny. It's not funny at all. But like you
Like
know, you gotta
Avengers.
laugh at the pain because we are fallopian tubeless sisters. We are infertility
I'm gonna add that
sisters.
to my title on Instagram
Fallopian
and
tubeless
LinkedIn.
sisters. Child, we are out here just like, and it's not funny, but of course, like you just like it feels good though. It does feel good to just like. It's not good, but it feels
Yeah.
good to be like we're in this together. Like
It is. It does.
we're experiencing this, and like even to talk about it, like I don't like I wrote like a little status about it the other day, and I might like journal about it. I don't talk about
Yeah.
the things that I'm
But you have
going
to
through.
talk.
Still, you do gotta talk
You
it
gotta
through.
talk. It's not complete without having a discussion.
Exactly. And that's why I was like, I definitely wanted to have you on the podcast and talk about it because I rarely talk to other women about infertility as
Yeah.
well. Like, we rarely have conversations about this. And like, infertility is still my life. Like, even after you have a child, like, it's still your life because you're still, you're navigating all these different thoughts, all these different traumas, all of these different things that come up daily, and the desires that you want to have, but that you're just like coping and like,
Yep.
this is what life is like. And yes, like you say, you're grateful for what you have and you're thankful, and we make the best
We do.
out of what we have.
That's
And
what a mama does.
That's what a mama does. And that's why we have to take, again, it just always continues to go back to like self-care and taking care of ourselves. And like you said, having organizations that bring awareness to, sis, we see you. If you're dealing with this and you're going through this, we see you. Or if you know somebody that knows somebody, like, check in on your friends, like,
Yep.
check in on people, especially other women, and have these conversations and have these talks and hold space for each other, because we need that.
We need it.
We need it. We don't need to be feeling isolated and feeling alone. And if you are feeling isolated and alone, just like know that there's organizations like A Light After 9, or there's other women that went through the same thing. And I'm pretty sure that
Many.
there's a lot of like more fertility like advocate groups. I know even for me personally, I felt like I wanted to write a book, and I started a little bit, but I wanted to write a book too, because it's just like, just sharing that story. I know even for me, like, I didn't even decide to do IVF until I watched Eggs Over Easy. I made a post on Facebook, and other people started coming to me telling me about how they were dealing with the same thing, and then they were telling me how they did IVF, and I'm like, oh, like, I was nervous when IVF was presented to me. I was like, that was grief in itself. Like, so you're telling me I'm not gonna be able to get
Right.
pregnant naturally?
I felt
like,
like my body was incompetent.
part.
I'm like, dang.
that part.
And then I was diagnosed with cervical incompetence. I was like, dang. That's
So,
like
I'm
insult to
just-
injury. I was like, damn, I'm incompetent. Oh my God. I
Like,
can't
why?
have a baby.
And at what point did this happen in my life?
Yeah.
Like, when did this happen?
Right.
Has it always been like this? Was it something, some choice that I made? Was it some food
Right.
that I ate?
Right.
Like, what was it?
I didn't feel unhealthy until then. Like I felt like a young, strong black woman
Yes.
until I was going through this.
Same.
I was like, yeah, I can get pregnant. It wasn't even on my radar to worry about pregnancy. I'm like, I'll get pregnant and have a baby when I'm ready. And like to know that luxury it's a luxury. It's crazy. But also to your point about the groups and other people and confiding, it wasn't until I started this organization that I was open with my pregnancy journey. My therapist always say, you need to write a book, you need to go on tour, you need to talk to other people. It's people out here. I'm just like, yeah, whatever. But when I started telling my story, even today, like, so many people in my inbox saying, I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you're speaking on this. I'm alone. I'm isolated. I rejected telling my story because hearing other people going through this made me sadder. I was just like, I don't want y'all to be going through this either. Like, and then when I started telling my story, when I started my business, I was like, this is actually bringing me kind of comfort.
Yes.
gotta be working.
You talking about it more. It's like, to me, it's very similar to taking a walk. They talk about when you take a walk, it just kind of helps you to sort out your thoughts and sort out your feelings, and like, again, that's another time where maybe if you're quiet or listening to music or something like those, that's another time that you can hear messages. But on one side, there's us being internal and spending time with ourselves, and then on another side, there's how we show up in the world. So how do we show up to others, and how are we helping others, and what kind of service do we provide to others, and how are other people seeing us? So I feel like that's life in general. I think that we all, as people in our soul searching, that's what we go through. We go through that internal work, and then we have to do that external work. So like you said, there's healing in internal work, and there's healing in the external work, and making those connections with other people that might have went through what you went through, or people that might not have understood what other women are going through, and saying, oh, like, yes, I'm shining a light on that, and I can connect with that. One thing that I've just found over my almost 34 years in life is like human connections are so important. And I don't know, maybe is that one reason, like maybe a lot of us as women long to be mothers too, because it's just like in your child you get like your favorite little human, like this person that just like lifts up your world, and being able to see them, your mirror, they'll get you together. The other day I was going through some stuff. I was outside crying. I don't know if it was because like I'm on my cycle and just thoughts in my head. I was just going through my head, but my daughter, she came up to me and she was like, take a deep breath. And I was like, take a deep breath. Girl, she's about to take a deep breath. She's like, take a deep breath. And I was like, where did you get this from? But that's what I said. You have those other little humans, and you have that human connection. And then you always just have that person that just kind of just doesn't make you feel alone anymore. So they are truly, truly blessings beyond going through infertility. And even though they might poop on the wall and push your hand away and hit you by accident or something and throw temper tantrums. It's only for a time.
She have a girl.
Oh yeah, see, I'm not in the boy life yet. I'm not in the boy. I heard the boys is something different, but again, my daughter is a Leo, so she's very feisty.
She's an amazing person. She's
absolutely amazing. She's very sassy though. She gonna give you some attitude, and
she's straightforward.
Yeah, she's straightforward, and there's no running over her. Okay, so I asked you about self-care and pregnancy, and then also I want to just know about how has self-care been for you with motherhood?
Yeah, so I would say it's easier with motherhood, especially with co-parenting. When you have a good co-parent, like somebody who is really involved in taking their child and like being a father and stuff like that, it makes it easier on you as a mom. Innately, women and moms have more of the weight of the parenthood. It's just like that, especially if you breastfeed, we have to give birth, all this stuff. It's nothing comparable to those things. But I do have time to really, truly decompress for a couple of weeks. And then, we exchange. And even with him, like, I've been really sick the past few months with the neurological issues I've been having. And even when he was a baby, when it started and he was 6 months, it's like he could tell. He'll come lay with me. He's quiet. He doesn't cry. I can't be around a lot of noise. Even now, like, there's times, unfortunately, he was in the hospital with me. And he's, like, rubbing my head. And it's like they're intuitive, and things like that. But as far as self-care, like, I'm able to... I can't exercise right now, but I am.
Can't?
I would go blind right now if I exercise. Yeah, it's really bad. But I am able to, like, try to walk. Do a lot of meditation. I am trying yoga just to try to, be centered and stuff like that. Instead of, like, I can't do exercise. Like, I'm a Peloton girl. Like, I like to be on my Peloton and stuff like that. But I've been doing things to center me. And I've been getting a lot of messages to slow down, which is hard because I'm a type A, overachieving, go-getter type person. So I've been kind of stepping away and delegating. That's been self-care. Yes. Delegation for a type A person is like real self-care.
Yes, that is. Because you can't do it all.
You can't do it all, but you try.
You try. But it's a lot of mental load.
It is. I also told Beyonce, that's the highest form of self-care I could do for myself.
Oh, you went to go see Beyonce?
I did. I'm a beehive person.
Yes, go ahead. She got her yellow one with her black. Okay. Too bad Kenneth not here. He would have been loving that for you. Like, Kenneth is one of Beyonce's.
I have never missed a concert. I saw Renaissance twice. One in Kentucky, one here. Oh, my God, you're not been
I never been to
Oh
one,
my
and her
God.
birthday is a day before mine, so I understand that. She's the bomb as a
Yep.
Virgo, as Virgos are
Y'all
too.
are. I love y'all. I love y'all.
So I want to go to one of her concerts because I truly believe that she has to be one of the best performer in our generation.
She
So
is like you. It's nothing like a Beyonce concert, and I'm saying that unbiasedly.
no, I've never heard a person say that they did not have a good time at a Beyonce
I've been a
concert, whether
hater,
it been a
believer.
man or a woman. I ain't
Yep.
never heard that before. So I'm like, I
Yeah.
definitely want to go. So
2027 is when she
Is her
is
next one?
projected because she should come out with the Act 3 next year if
Yeah.
she's going by her schedule, and then 2027 she'll go on tour.
So I'm gonna be at 2027.
You're gonna be there
I'm gonna be
because
there.
when I tell you it's an experience unlike any other. It's just anytime I've gone to a Beyonce concert, I felt inspired to take care of myself, to do more, to do less, which is more for me. It's just I can't explain the feeling that you have, that energy exchange at a concert. I'm a concert person too, so like it's just always a grounding moment for me. Like just to be in a space where that high of an energy is being exchanged with 100,000 people. It's just nothing like it. So I'm a concert person.
Well, shout out to Beyonce for over here inspiring self-care.
Yes.
I love it. I love to hear it. But yes, thank you, Rochelle. This was just great conversation just to hear about self-care. Oh, we got comments? Okay, we're going to listen to those in a second. Okay, well, we'll read those in a second. Definitely appreciated you coming and sharing your story. Like, I have honestly never heard a story like that. I've never met someone who has lost, personally, that I know, connected with and talked to, that has dealt with so many
And I hope you never do.
miscarriages.
I would never wish this on nobody.
I know, truthfully, there are definitely a lot of things in life that people endure silently, or share it later on, and you don't wish that on your worst enemy whatsoever. Honestly, wishing wealth, health,
Yes.
and longevity on everybody and
Yes.
anybody. Like
On my
we
worst
deserve a
enemy,
good
everybody.
life on everybody. Like we all deserve a good life. But again, I think that one thing that's just been that common theme is no matter what you're going through, though, it's definitely you can find the help that you need, and also I think it starts with you. At the end of the day, like you said that you didn't want to give up hope. Like you felt like it. You was getting tired, but you still continued on, and then eventually you received. I always think about that picture where they show like that person that was digging and he got tired of it. He was like literally he just went a little bit more, he would have found that treasure that he was looking for. And so that's something that's gonna always push you, keep you going, push you, and keep you going and going through life and just the hard times and the sufferings and the pains and the joys. But life, and when we talk about being holistic, and it envelops all of that. It envelops the good, the bad, the ugly, the suffering, the joy, the pain, the gratitude, the grief. All of that is in there. But at the end of the day, it's like a matter of how do we navigate it, the support that we're receiving.
Control the things that we can control.
Amen. We can only control. And true, infertility will definitely make you feel out of control.
It will.
But
And
there are
powerless.
things that you can control in your life, and that's your happiness, that's your peace, that's your joy. You can always find it. You can always find it. So yes, again, thank you.
Thank
Can
you
you
so
real
much.
quick before we're done, can you tell us about your social media platforms
Yeah.
and A Light After 9 where we can find more information on that?
Yeah, so A Light After 9, we're here to help not just moms and moms to be and those who are in the good fight to try to be moms, which I just want to say, you're a mom long before you actually have
That's
that
true.
baby.
That's facts.
You become a parent once you have a physical baby, but you can't tell me that going through IVF you wasn't a mom already. Only a mother would do that. You can't tell me that flying to Texas to save a 20-week pregnancy didn't make me a mom. I was inducted into motherhood already. But all of us, as we navigate difficult pregnancy journeys, we're here to help. You can find us at alightafter9.org, at A Light After 9 on Threads and Instagram. My TikTok is RDumas, RN, and I'm on LinkedIn and Facebook, Rachel Dumas. You can find me professionally as well. So we welcome all, not just moms, but their village as well. It truly takes a village.
Indeed it does. Indeed it does. Well, thank you guys. That was another podcast episode. Actually, before we go, Ishmael, you said there were some comments on the live.
Quita Long, she just said, I hate getting surpluses.
Oh, sarcophagus.
Surpluses, okay. I hate getting surpluses. I believe they cause more damage in the long run. Then she came back and said, our mental state takes a very big toll of a love to learn more. I needed someone to be there for me when I had my birth. And I had to birth my firstborn and then watch him die in my arms.
Oh,
It was
no.
pretty rough for me.
Yeah, some people's cerclages fail. They do. I will always try to explore all options. Cerclages aren't the only options for cervical insufficiency. There's different options. Some that are more temporary that you could put in. So really talk to a doctor, and if that doctor isn't giving you your options, like, don't be afraid to switch doctors. That's another thing we're afraid
That
to do.
part.
We be so committed to a doctor who isn't on the
And
same page
even
with
on
us.
it, yeah, who don't see you. Go find you the proper help that you need
Yeah.
for sure. But yes, I hate that. Again, it's a lot of women that deal with birthing to even cultivate, nourish a child, and then for them to just not be able to live your life with them, for you to not be able to live your life with them is very traumatic. So we definitely need that support. So
Yeah.
thank you for creating an organization like A
Yeah.
Light After 9 and finding hope and faith
Yes.
throughout your journey and everything that you've been through, and just seeing that light on the other side and being a light for others. We truly
you so
appreciate
much.
that. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us for another episode. And until next time, peace.
Oh, that was great.
Good, girl.